Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is Tuesday, November 21st, 2023, and well, I'm recently back from Big Bend National Park once again, in just around a week, this time in just under a week, I lost over 13 pounds. And I didn't just lose 13 pounds, I regained the ability to complete 2 pull-ups in a row. Not a lot, but I never had been able to do much more than 2 to begin with. So right now, I'm essentially at the physical peak of what I've been at ever before in my past, after having just rejuvenated myself for 7 days in a spiritual place, in a place of nature. Nature is nurture. And many people may not be able to give credit to the power of what's known as, let's call it prayer and fasting in one way, but let's also think about it as meditation and going without certain distractions in another way. And just to be kind of open-minded to the concept of what I'm talking about. But basically, I healed extremely rapidly, so rapidly that, well, why wouldn't I want to do that continuously? Parts of those obligations have to do with the life structure that we have with one another. And some of us mistakenly believe that we have obligations that we actually do not. And I say that because, some of us might feel obligated to go to one side of the family or another side of the family for a routine holiday, whether it's a birthday or a day of celebration and giving thanks for even the basic things like being with one another. But many of us might feel obligated to go to one side of the family versus the other because of how people make us feel. And how people make us feel oftentimes somehow develops how we believe we feel when we are fitting in with one another. I feel at ease no matter whether I am with one side of the family or another side of the family, because I also feel like as long as I communicate my full self, it automatically puts me in a place where I need to be. So for several instances right now, I've been blessed with an opportunity to move around the country. I have been free to move about the country, like that commercial. And I can do that in any way that I want. And I'm not going to worry about whether one side of a family or another side of the family thinks that I'm doing the right thing or the wrong thing. And I know that this is a huge, dense subject to process, but right now, this week in particular is a good time to talk about just how much processing there is in the nutrients, in the experiences that we are consuming. Like right now, I'm pushing the max, I'm going beyond the speed limit, I'm doing all kinds of different things, I'm still being tailgated, but right in front of me I get a green light when I need a green light, and that frees me up to not worry about things, because I'm just doing things as honestly as I would like to do. If I'm comfortable driving a certain speed limit because I'm looking for the wildlife, children, pedestrians, and everything else that might be in the roadway that I would not be able to avoid colliding with if I were not paying attention, then things would be different. I would be anxious because I would be knowingly approaching the speed of harming somebody else. Like this person tailgating me, well, the light in front of me is red. Now, since I didn't just wait till the last second to jam on the brakes, they have a peaceful transition from red to green. I'm helping to moderate the things around me, no matter where I'm at. But that also comes with a price. We absorb the energy of one another. And so yesterday itself, I was thinking about this topic of fasting, of prayer and fasting. And I got to a point where I started thinking, it's not when we fast. Like, I know a bunch of gurus who will talk about, oh, we need to fast on this day, or only during this period of time, or only at this certain moon phase can we do something. None of that matters. What matters is that we do it. And so for me to regain my health and lose a lot of weight, the weight loss wasn't the issue. It's just a side effect of regaining our health. To have the physical power, to have hand strength even. All of that is something that comes from having good health. And to have good health takes self-control, self-care. And if we can't care for ourselves, it's hard to care for one another. So on this channel, I talk almost circularly about this whole concept of why it is that I believe we need to disconnect and recenter ourselves while fasting, while doing without, and how important it is. And for whatever reason, people tell me they can't understand what I'm talking about, but it's not whatever reason. It's because we can choose to not understand one another. If you really want to understand something, you're going to learn its language, right? Do you talk with your pets, pet lovers? Well, someone the other day was telling me a story about someone's house they were visiting, and the house they were visiting happened to have 2 dogs as members of their family. Well, one of the dogs did something that the owner, the person who owned the house, didn't like. And so that person began to physically assault their dog. Now, for the pet lovers out there, I know there are a lot of people who might swat their pet, use a newspaper, but if you're also a parent, do you do that to your child? And then if you do that to your child, do you do it from a place of compassion and is the intent to do something without causing fear and damaging harm, or is it aggression? You can hear the difference, So for me, I have the passion to be able to talk with all of those emotions, but to also have them well within my control. And I feel like we have such a limited amount of time to talk with one another about these concepts that, well, I'm going to just keep talking about it and doing my thing while I regain my health, occasionally redistributing the wealth that's been bestowed upon me. In some cases, it's been misery, discontent, and unfairness. So I'm going to have to redistribute the energy. Look at the power lines that I'm redistributing the energy in ways that are translatable, relatable, and not debatable. There's only a spirit of truth, and there's a spirit of something that wants to kill, steal, and destroy. So thank you so much to everyone who's been tuning in. You would never believe it. So the light in front of me just turned right. There were 2 cars, one in the left lane, one in the right lane. I need to turn to the right. And the car in the right lane moved over to the left to leave this lane open. And even though I would have been just as pleased to have waited for the green light, look how I get to cherry pick and just turn in unobstructed without any kind of, there's no bother. It's like as if the lights are changing colors just for me sometimes. It's like this story is just for me sometimes, but it's not. It's also for you. You just have to choose. Do you want to live with the side that basically wants to kill, steal, and destroy? Or would you do without if you knew that there was trouble? Would you do without if you knew that there was trouble about? Sounds like a good Eminem song, huh? Would you do without if you knew that there was trouble about? Anyway, Those are the kind of questions and knowledge insights that you get on this channel. So no matter how you're seeing the channel, whether you're seeing it and thinking, oh, this guy, he's doing some cute things, he shows cute animals. Oh, he's showing some one-offs, where there was a bear at his tent. That's a one-off. It's not a one-off for me. It's a regular occurrence. And it's a regular occurrence now because of the way that we are faced with challenges to the climate. And so we are left with a leadership structure and mentality that's slightly laughable. And we're left with the alternative, the nurturing side, which sometimes if you were a chakra talker, if you were a chakra talker, sometimes you would call that the feminine side, the nurturing side, the mothering side. Well, from one mother to another, we got a lot of work to do. Can't nobody do it all on their own, except for a higher power. And the higher power is a collective, and the collective can reorganize itself in an instant if only we invite that opportunity into our world as a possibility. For me, it is all possible, but only thanks to our higher power. So on behalf of every single fiber of my being, I appreciate so much the discussions, the rich discussions that have commenced on these videos, on these platforms. I express my gratitude for all of you who have clicked on any kind of a thumbs up, who have revved by while I've been talking, any plane that's been flying around for the entire day while I've been trying to just, tell a story, because it tells the story. We're all facing these situations together. But some of us are opposing things that are right. And that opposition is something that the people who are saying these things just in observation should not feel stressed out about. Just because I observe wrong doesn't mean that I have to be in that state of alarm at the same time. Somebody needs to correct things, so I need to remain calm. In order to remain calm, I might need to have clear control of the scenario around me, which requires acuity. Mental, physical, and spiritual. Till next time, thanks so much. Peace, love, and all that old school stuff.